right, let's get started on our study guide. This is for the test on the linear equations. We've got a line here in front of us, and we're supposed to find the slope. All right. First thing we want to notice on this, and this is important, that since the slope of the line is in this direction, it's going to be negative. If it had been like this, it would have been positive, but this one is obviously negative. So I'm going to put equals negative, because I know it's going to be something negative. All right, it's rise over run. So all we're going to do is I'm going to count up. All right, I'm starting with the point on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It rises 8. Right? And the run is going to be 1, 2. So it's a rise of 8, a run of 2. All right. So this actually reduces both of these numbers. All right, divide by 2. They're even numbers. They divide by 2. You end up, if you divide the top by 2, you get 4. The bottom by 2, you get 1. That's 4 over 1. 4 divided by 1. So the slope of this is negative 4. All right, for number 2, again, we're asked to find the slope. And on this, you can tell that it leans in this direction, right? So that's going to make it a positive. So it's equals rise over run. All right, let's count. All right, the rise is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? A rise of 4. A run of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So a rise of 4, a run of 6. We notice that this will reduce. 4 divided by 6. So both 4 and 6 are divisible by 2. All right, we divide them both by 2, we get 2/3. All right, we're going to do number 3 and 4 at the same time. This is where it gives us a slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, and it wants to know the slope. All right, so on the first one, the slope is going to be basically the coefficient of the x. It sits right in front of the x. So the slope of number 3 is m equals negative 1/2. All right. For number 4, it's the same thing. We're looking at the coefficient that's right in front of the x. All right. It has to be in this form. If you notice, the y is by itself on the left, and you've got the y-intercept on the left. All right. So the slope of this line is going to be m equals 6 over 5. All right, for number 5, we have to find the slope on 2 points. All right, we've got 2 distinct points here. The equation for finding the slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Even as last week, I saw people mixing this up. All right, guys, you got to be consistent, and you got to have the y's on the top and the x's on the bottom. So for this one, I'm going to put y minus y, so it's negative 17 minus negative 1, all right, over top of x minus x. So that's 14 minus negative 17. All right, doing the math on this, negative 17 minus negative 1. I really hope that y'all don't take shortcuts on this, and I hope you put this in your calculator till you get this. This is the same as negative 17 plus 1, which is going to be negative 16. All right. Negative 14 minus negative 17 is 14 plus 17, which is going to be 31. All right. On your answer sheet, that is going to give you a D. All right, for number 6, we have another problem with points. All right, the thing you have to remember, it's going to be y minus y, which is 18 minus negative 10 over x minus x. So that'll be 11 minus 14. All right, doing the math on this, put this in your calculator. 18 minus negative 10 is the same thing as 18 plus 10, which is going to give you 28. 11 minus 14 is going to be negative 3, which just basically makes the whole problem negative. All right, so negative 28 thirds, which on your answer sheet will be A. All right, number 7 is in the slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. All right, you all know well how to. You're all really good at graphing these. So let's look at this. All right, the y-intercept to this is going to be negative 2. So we go down and we mark the negative 2. All right, we see that this is a negative slope. Negative slope means it's going to go in this direction. All right, and it's a rise of 1. Rise of 1. We go up 1, and then we go over 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so I've got my points. Draw the line. If you look on the answer sheet, the one that matches that is going to be D. All right, number 8 is another from a slope-intercept form. It's 1/2 x minus 2. So we know the y-intercept is going to be minus 2. We go down, we mark that, and we know the slope is 1/2. It's positive, so it's going to go in this direction, right? The 1/2 means it's a rise of 1 and a run of 2. Okay, we could keep doing that too. Rise of 1, run of 2, rise of 1, run of 2, but you get the point. The line is going to look like that. I'll make it better. All right, the answer is going to be, on your worksheet, is going to be B. B will be your best match. All right, number 9. It wants to know the slope of the line perpendicular to the line in the graph. All right, so the first thing we got to do is find the slope of the line in the graph, then find the slope that's perpendicular. All right, so the slope for this is going to be a rise of 3 and a run of 4. So the slope for this line is 3/4. We know that it's positive because it rises to the right, okay? So that's the slope of this line. But the question is, find the slope of the line perpendicular. So if you remember from Friday's class, the slope of the line that's perpendicular is going to be the negative reciprocal. So 3/4 becomes negative 4/3. We flip it upside down and give it a negative sign. So the answer for this is going to be C. All right, number 10. Number 10 is another perpendicular line. So to find the perpendicular slope, first we have to find the slope of the line. All right, again, we're going to see that this is going to be a positive slope. So M equals, let's see, rise over run. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's going to be a rise of 7 and a run of 1, 2. All right, so the slope of the line given is 2/7. All right, that would make the slope of the perpendicular line negative 2/7. It's the negative reciprocal. Flip it upside down and change the sign. So this is the line, this is the slope of the line perpendicular. M equals negative 2/7, which would be a correct answer on your sheet of C. All right, please take your time with number 11. It's going to be weighted more than the other 10 questions, and you have to show all your work. There's 3 steps, and we worked on this pretty extensively in class. If you remember, it's the first thing you're going to do is find your slope. All right, then you're going to use your shell, which I'm going to be giving to you on the board, and then you're going to solve. So slope, shell, solve. All right, you want to get from these 2 points to get it in the form of y equals mx plus b, all right, which is the slope-intercept form. All right, first thing is to get your slope, all right? It's going to be y minus y, -5 minus 7 over top of x minus x, x minus x, -1 minus 3. All right. I strongly suggest you put these into the calculator. I saw all kinds of mistakes being made with negative numbers still. So put this into your calculator. The slope of this is going to be -5 minus 7, which is going to give you -12, over top of -1 minus 3, which is -4. All right? So negative minus negative, and negative divided by a negative, this is going to be positive. All right? Both of these, all right, 12 and 4, okay, we'll divide by 4. If we divide 12 by 4, we get 3. We divide 4 by 4, we get 1. All right? And like I said, the negative sign, negative over negative, makes the whole thing positive. 3 divided by 1 equals 3. So the slope equals 3. All right? So that's the slope. Next is what I've called the shell. And I'm going to give this formula on the board. All right, this is the point slope form. This is y minus equals x minus, right? The full formula will be given to you on the board. But now we just have to fill this in. All right? We're going to use the slope that we found and insert it here. Right? And we're going to use the 3 and the 7. I'm going to use this point. I like to use positive numbers if I can. So here's the key point. I saw mistakes made. All right? In this is in the XY form. 3 is the X. All right? Don't get these confused. The 3 goes with the X. The 7 goes with the Y. All right? Now let's clean this up a little bit. This is the shell. You're done with the slope. You're done with the shell. The shell is the slope point slope formula. All right? Now we have to solve for it. Solving for it gets it in the y equals mx plus b form. All right. First thing you want to do is distribute this 3 to the x, which gives you 3x. Then distribute the 3 to the -3. You get -9. Right? Y minus 7 equals 3x minus 9. Next thing you have to do, the last thing you have to do is get y by itself. To do that, we're going to add 7 to both sides. All right? If we do that, we get 3x, -9 plus 7, or -9 plus 7 is going to leave you with -2. Okay, that's the solve, and you're done. This would be full credit on this problem. This problem's probably going to be somewhere between, because it's got 3 sections and you have to show your own work, it's going to be between 20 and 30 points. All right? It's really important. You've got lots of problems like this in your notes. I'd strongly suggest that you look at them and be able to solve a problem. I'm going to have the formulas for you on the board, but slope, shell, solve.